Hey guys, what's up? It's time for chapter 12 of the Path of Radiance hard mode draft, and we've got some ravens trying to steal all our shit, and I will not have any of it. And it's all a matter of trying to kick their ass as fast as possible and move on. This chapter, I mean, there honestly isn't much strategy to it. The only important things I realized is it all comes down to finishing it like as fast as possible for myself. I think I beat it as fast as I could because the majority of my units that would be killing the ravens are one-rounding them, mostly just due to the fact that I made sure they had enough speed to do so, and I don't have a flyer, which really kind of hampered my progress. This is one of the only chapters where early on having a flyer was more useful than having just a paladin or a, whatever, a cavalier, just due to the fact that everything I mean, you only have so much room to work with, so a cavalier's extra movement on this map really doesn't count for anything. It's just the fact that all the cavaliers in the game have pretty overpowered stats that kind of makes it different. But like I said, it was just a matter of this chapter is just important if you want to beat it fast, flyer or not. Obviously, if you have a flyer, find out where the reinforcements come from. They arrive on turn 3, 5, and 7, I believe. So try and eliminate everyone either on the enemy phase or of phase 7, or like turn 7, I believe, or try and do it before the end of one of those turns, because you have the reinforcements coming in at pretty obscure points. Especially if you don't have a flyer, you're not going to be able to reach them to do that. So I think if you don't have a flyer, you're pretty much stuck with just taking the turn counts as they come and waiting for the boss to begin rushing you, which starts, I believe, at the end of turn 5 and not at the beginning, which kind of, I mean, sucks. And that was my phone. I just think that I did the best with what I could. Without a flyer, who at this part is only Marcia, who, if you're playing efficiently and haven't been bonus experiencing and abusing her too much, she shouldn't be promoted yet. Either way, if she has above 20 speed or 19 speed, I believe, she'll be able to double most of the ravens. But for her, it's a matter of having enough strength to one-round them. As you can see, my Ike has 20 strength, and he's, one-rounding them pretty convincingly. But the chances of a Marcia without bonus experiencing abuse having 20 strength at this point is pretty slim. I think she'll probably need about 18, just due to the fact that lances have higher power. But most of my units, my main combat units at this point, Oscar, Kieran, and Ike, all have adequate speed to double the ravens. So that was about it all, and they're not coming in that fast or strong, so it's kind of one of those things where this chapter is either, it's pretty much set in stone for most people. I wouldn't see anyone getting above 10 turns, or below anything, below 3 turns is pretty much impossible, I think. I don't know how fast it could be done if you did it in 3 turns, but I've seen 5, and that's pretty impressive. So, but that's mostly attributed to a flyer. So, whatever. But like I said, just aim for the 20 speed and you should be okay. At least if it's on Ike, just have everyone else get the hell out then. If they're not able to double the ravens, then I would say just have them sit back, or it wouldn't matter as much, I don't think, if you don't have 20 speed if you have a bow. So if you have Boyd, or if you for some reason gave Oscar bows, he could probably just take him out just as well without 20 speed, which he should probably get. Depending on how well you've leveled him. I kind of have him over leveled at this point, considering promoted at the end of chapter 8, or well, for the beginning of chapter 9, but still. Like I said, once the boss starts moving, the chapter is pretty much over. Just a matter of killing everything. And for those of you doing an efficiency run or hope to do one in the future, you'll find that route chapters are easily your most frustrating. Because those really do take, I think, the most amount of planning, because with the most simple objective, the thing that screws over route maps is if you don't know where the reinforcements are coming from, you're not going to beat it within a turn count that you're going to like. That's why I always suggest doing a test run, trying to see where the reinforcements arrive, you know, what their stats are, or you know what their stats could be. I don't know exactly how the enemy generation works, but for, you know, I would suggest, if you're looking at enemy stats, wondering who can kill them all in one round, because usually the enemy phase is probably the most important for route chapters, because you want to make sure that you're killing as many as possible on their turn, so you're making the very most out of every turn that you have, because you only have one attack on every phase. So making the most of that on their phase to where they can have multiple people attack you is very important. So I highly suggest doing something like that. You know, as I've said in previous videos, make a file before and after the chapter that you're on, if you can afford it. To afford the save files, I know some people just, you know, you use one save file or two, but I suggest having, you know, at least saving the chapter before and then the chapter you're on. Even 2 chapters back is good, but I mean, you almost don't need that. I would go back and play the chapter once or twice, and depending on your turn count, keep it if you like it, but I suggest just going through a dry run, just waiting through a few turns to see where reinforcements arrive, at least on route chapters. Those are most important. Though even stuff like siege chapters, like I believe chapter 28 is just really dumb. That was the most frustrating chapter, because I think I got 5 turns, and it was just very hard due to previous turn counts, because it was mostly due to Ike not having provoke, which would have been really helpful. So having stuff like that, trying to get down to lower turn counts at the cost of level ups and stuff like that, it sometimes isn't worth it. But like I said, you just have to make the best of what you get, and if you believe you can improve, I would say always make a save file and save the chapter that you just beat, and then possibly go back and replay it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. If you didn't get good level ups, if you want to, because once you find the strategy, and if it wasn't reliant on luck or criticals, generally you can retry enough to the point where you can easily redo it, which is good. Just it's a matter of finding the strategy, and if it is reliant on criticals, at least you know where you need them. And once again, you can still restart and get the turns that you need. But I mean, I highly don't recommend doing that excessively, especially if you're playing on something like an emulator or, you know, something like that, because I'm playing on console personally, and I will choose to play on console because I enjoy the controls of a console more, obviously, and it just feels more legitimate doing that. Using save states, especially in a game like this where the random number generator works differently, in that every time you reset, it will pretty much generate a new number for you, even if you just move around a little bit to waste some of the RNs. But as opposed to the GBA titles, it's kind of hard, because there are ways of RNG manipulation, but it's less, it's more strict in that, I'm pretty sure. So like I said, you know, don't reset abuse excess, especially if you're playing on an emulator. It's just a matter of being courteous to everyone else. If you get a few bad level ups in the course of the chapter, deal with it, because console players most likely will, and it's truly a way of equalizing skill, at least in my opinion, which obviously could differ from yours, but it's just a matter of keeping everything as legitimate as possible. I've even seen some drafts that institute penalties for resetting, which gets rid of things like reset abuse, stuff like that. I mean, there's no way to quantify that. People could lie about it, and to be honest, I probably would too. I would absolutely despise having a lower turn count just based on all that stuff, but that was the map, so see you guys later.